Okay, in this video we're going to find the volume of a cone. Alright, the volume of a cone is very similar to the cylinder, except you have to multiply the big B and height to 1/3. Remember, it takes three of these guys, or three of the cones, to equal the volume of a cylinder. Alright, so I want to go over some things with you just to label some stuff, just so you kind of know. Alright, we have just like we talked about a circle, so we have a circle as the base. Alright, the base does have a diameter, and I want to change it to the exact same color that you see up above, so that way we have the clarification that we're talking about the same thing. So this is the diameter. If you notice, it goes all the way across, and we know that that is 8. Alright, so we know that. And we also know that the side of a cone, so like if I was to redraw the cone, which I'm going to, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about, the cone itself has a couple of little things. It has what we call a slant height. All right, the slant height is the number that is, or the side that is, when I highlight it, this here is called the slant height. A lot of times they'll use L for that, for the slant height, and it's called slant height. That's a slant height. Okay, that's that little line. Another thing that you see is what they call a height. So we have a slant height, and then we have a height. The height in this one is a perpendicular line from the radius straight down. So it's the center of the circle straight down, and it makes a 90-degree angle with the diameter. This here is called the height of the three-dimensional figure. It's the actual height. It's from the highest point straight down. And we'll use H for that, and that's what we use for an equation. So you have your slant height, you have your height, and you have your diameter that you need for this. Alright, so here we go. We are going to talk about the formula and finish it up. Just like before, the volume is 1/3 big B. Now remember, big B, we mentioned earlier, is the area of the base. So big B equals the area of the base. And this cone only has a circle for the base. And that area formula is pi r squared. That's exactly what it is. So again, I'm just going to rewrite it. So I'm going to put pi r squared here. And then I'm going to put my other formula. B equals 1/3. And we're going to multiply the whole thing by the height. So let's go ahead and start filling everything in. The volume equals 1/3. Pi we're going to use like we've been using before, 3.14. And I think I'd like to leave it in the same color so you know where everything kind of goes together. So we're going to say times 3.14. Our radius, remember, we're only wanting half of it. The diameter is all the way, but the radius is half. So we're going to say that it's 4. Alright? So it's 4 square. And my height here is not the slant height, it's the actual height from the center straight down. Alright, and that will be 9.2. Alright, here's some good strategies that you might want to use. I try to make it as simple as possible when I'm telling my students what to do here. So volume is, I would multiply all of this first. So I'm just going to show you what I do. I put 3.14 times 4 times 4 times 9.2. I would put all that in first, alright? Then what I would do is I would divide the whole thing by 3, 1/3. So let's go ahead and put this in the graphing calculator. So I'm going to put 3.14 times 4 times 4 times 9.2. And when I do, I get 462, and I'm going to round off a little bit, 2.1. It was 2.08, but I'm rounding. And we're going to divide the whole thing by 3, because we're taking 1/3 of it. So when I divide the whole thing by 3, my answer comes out to be 154 0.07. All right, so I'm going to clean this up a little bit so we can see it. All right, so when I do this, again, the answer comes to be 154.0, and the reason why I'm putting it's 0.069, but I'll put 0.07. Again, this is going to be in cubic feet. Whenever we're doing volume, that little 3 will be the exponent. So that's how much space is inside this cone. So knowing me, how much I love ice cream, I could fill this cone up. It was 9.2 feet high and 8 feet diameter. I could actually put 154.07 square feet of ice cream, inside that and level it off. That's a lot of ice cream. All right, so now let's reverse the model, just like we did before in cylinder. And we're going to change it up a little bit so you can kind of see the dimensions a little different. All right, so I'm actually going to do some fancy stuff here. Hopefully it's fancy. All right, let's see if I can do this. All right, oh, that's not good enough. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to copy this so I can use this later. Copy, and we're going to go to the next screen. Now I'm going to try to paste it. So there's my drawing there. All right, now I can touch it up a little bit. I'm going to touch it up a little bit, clean it up a little bit. So let's say now they tell us the volume, and we're rearranging it. We're going to say the volume is 154.07 cubic feet. We're going to say that. And we're going to change some of this. We're going to say let's find the height this time. Let's just pretend like we're going to find the height. All right, so we'll say R is 4 feet. All right, and then we're going to try to find the height of this, which we already know it's 9.2. We're just using this as an example. So I'm going to pretend like we don't know. I'm going to pretend like we really don't know this. Then we're going to put a question mark by it, the height. All right, so how do we do this? All right, so again, it's volume equals 1/3 big B times H. We know the volume is 154.07. We're going to say 1/3. Big B is pi r squared times H. All right, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit. So pi we are going to say is 3.14. So I'm going to rewrite this a little longer. 1 equals, and we're going to put 1/3 times 3.14. R we know is 4, and we're going to say we're going to square it, but we don't know the height. And let's change that to a different color so it really stands out. So here we go. That stands out. All right, so first thing I need to do is I could combine all this together. So we could say 3.14 times 4 times 4, all right, and we get this. I'm just trying to give you every little step so that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. 154.07 equals, and we multiplied 3.14 times 16, and we got 50.24, and then we're going to take 1/3 of that. And remember, we're going to multiply all that by the height. Woo! We're going to multiply that by the height. All right, so let's divide that by 3. Divide by 3 equals, okay, we're going to get, probably going to get an unusual number. Hopefully we can get real close. 154.07. All right, divide equals, and I got 16.75. And then we have our height. Now I'm going to divide both sides, because I want to get h by itself, by 16.75. Now understand we could be a little bit off because we've been rounding. This becomes that, so h is going to equal, let's put h here, equals, now I'm going to take my calculator, 154.07 divided by 16.75 equals, and I got 9.198, which you know is going to round off to 9.2, and that's what we feet, and that's what we had for our answer. So it worked out perfectly. Just a little rounding.